Broadway bust-up? Meghan Markle causing a scene? No, can't be. Of course. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much as ever for your time. And I'm glad you really enjoyed the video, by the way, yesterday about the reflectors, Buckingham Palace, Queen Victoria. Love making the history videos. If you haven't checked any of those out, do have a look. It's fascinating stuff because, you know, it's just kind of, you do get away thinking, wow, everything really was thought of by other people. What we're doing in this time is just extending that. You know, do you agree? You know, it's just a new way, isn't it? You know, the telephone is the telephone. We still speak to the people the way that they've always done, but now, of course, you've got Zoom, you've got video, but the communication ideas were all done by people long before us. Yes, very clever people, the Victorians, the Edwardians, and of course, previous other generations. We owe them all so much in the way that they communicate now. The same might be said, odious link coming here, chums. The same might be said, of course, because Meghan Markle recently hit Broadway. Oh yes, a wonderful place, Broadway. Let me tell you, I've been lucky enough to appear there more than once, and I love all the theatre districts, in fact, you know, wherever you are in the world. I remember going to see a marvellous production working out in the Netherlands for Phantom of the Opera, and it was wonderful because we were near somewhere, maybe people know, but it was like a beach, a seaside place. Magnificent theatre, wonderful production, of course all in your own language, but brilliant, you know. I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? The music takes you there. Broadway, another world, one of the most nerve-wracking nights of my life. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, you know the thing, you always want to make it on Broadway, right? It's the thing, the London Palladium, Broadway, the two tick boxes. I've been lucky enough to do them on more than one occasion, but of course when you are somebody like Meghan Markle rocking up for Broadway to see this, a revival of the wonderful musical that is Gypsy, all about, of course, a pushy showbiz mother. Right, we'll just leave that one there. But here's where it gets interesting, because you may have seen the motorcade that Meghan decided to just take a couple of blocks with, you know. I mean, why do you... You're saving the planet, right? You could easily have just put a hat on, even gone on the subway, the London Tube style, over in New York and got there. You don't need the drama. But I did think the one thing that Ellen DeGeneres got right about Meghan Markle was the very sly dig about when she said, oh, you know, she turned up and this time it was totally different, meaning the motorcade, the security, the check. The theatre had to be checked for security, yes, hours before Meghan entered. Nobody knew. It was ridiculous. It's absolutely ludicrous, nuts stuff. But this is now the world that Meghan clearly wants to live in. Shy, retiring creature, right? Now, Gypsy, as I say, a wonderful production, all that sort of stuff. If you know the show, you're going to love it. So why did Meghan decide to go? Well, there's a bigger problem, you see, because what you're finding now with Meghan and Harry is that they create havoc for the wrong reasons, take over the headlines for the wrong reasons. And while this show is, you know, brilliant and the cast are wonderful and they all take their parts really well, there's no mega name. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a Broadway star and she's brilliant and she's known, but she's not going to eclipse Meghan. You get the picture. And what is fascinating about this was how Meghan manipulated this, because you see, a couple of days prior to this, another chum of Meghan and Harry opened on Broadway. That's right, the ubiquitous star that is George Clooney, last seen propping up President Biden, saying how healthy and fit and raring to go he was, only to backtrack literally on CBS 60 Minutes. You see, you can't trust celebrities. Well, he opened up at the start of this month in Thank You and Good Night, his sort of film that's now become a Broadway play. And as I told you, not exactly cracking the box office open. Lots of big stars turned up on the night, including, some might say, the disgraced ABC reporter that's cost the company millions, George Stephanopoulos, I think his pronunciation is. But yeah, smiling through, not bothered about that, of course, no shame there. And according to a source, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were both invited. Or were they? Now, this is where this is getting, as ever, very, very confusing, because according to sources, George, who, you know, turned up at Meghan and Harry's wedding alongside his lawyer wife, Amal, well, they joked, claimed, truth, whatever, that they didn't know the couple, but they figured, well, you know, why not? Lots of publicity, let's turn up. And of course, we've seen previously that George likes to rib people, but that seemingly was the case. However, according to another source, basically George hasn't rushed to defend Meghan on social media, or indeed her pots of jam and a basket that she sent him for that particular play. Right. But now it involves this. You see, when Meghan didn't get the invite to the opening night, and this is confirmed from an excellent source, and as ever we have to say allegedly, well, the bottom line was slightly miffed, you see. I mean, after all, he'd gate-crashed her wedding and got that publicity. So according to the source, Meghan decided that she would pay a visit to a rival show and show exactly what George had missed. Now, his team are saying that she was invited and they never heard back. You see how this is confusing. However, a very astute source pointed out that there was one person on the list that Meghan would not want to be pictured with. And as you know, celebrities do team up at these carpets, literally, to get a picture together. And this woman, apparently, is box office poison. Yes, Rachel Zegler, Snow White herself, trying to drum up some business for her own West End debut over here in Evita at the London Palladium. So Meghan played it safe by rocking up to an independent, some might say, production, making sure that with her motorcade of ×4 or whatever, she got all the headlines, leaving, of course, George Clooney without the much needed, she believed, PR. Either way, it's a frosty time on Broadway right now. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.